Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Good magical evening. How are y'all? Of course, I'm Aeson, and with me tonight is the techie with mostest, Techie Bear. How are you, darling?
I'm doing well. How about you? I'm not the Techie Bear. I'm the Techie Joe.
I know, but you also the Bear Joe, too. Techie Cubby Joe.
I know. But yeah.
Okay, so Joe needs a lighter, personal...
Yes, I went to light a cigarette while the opening was going. And I'm like, am I serious right now? Am I really serious right now? Like, I walked...
I don't think naps are good for you.
You know what, though? Like, no, the last few days, like this past week, has not been good for me. Like, this has not been fit for human consumption.
That's debatable.
Like, God. Sorry, we've had a lot going on this week.
We've had a lot going on. We've been doing a lot. There's going to be some renovations going on to the sites.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, invisible assistant trying to light me on fire.
No burning the cub.
That's okay. I have a spray bottle of alcohol and I know how to use it. I'm just saying, I'm not one to mess with. Like, seriously, a spray bottle of alcohol, like, that's 90-some% alcohol.
Again, bring me my Aquanet. We will torch the fuck out of this shit. But anyhow, no, there's going to be some
that's not even counting.
On.
That's not even counting. I've got the really expensive good shit.
Yeah, I know.
That sits over on a shelf as a when I need it. That's 99% isopropyl. Like, we light you up.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Brenda. Hi, Cassie and Jerry.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. There's been a lot of techiness going around. Of course, it's February. So, of course, everything has to dislocate itself. Let's talk metaverse, because this was a real shocker for you, and it kicked our asses unexpected.
Like, hi, Meta, a.k.a. like the website formerly known as Facebook. The company formerly known as Facebook. Like, I feel like they're in a Prince holding pattern right now.
Right.
Where it's like, stop trying to make Meta a thing. It's not going to happen. Like, you're fucking Facebook, okay? Like, you came into this world. You're going to go out of this world. You're just stuck in the artist formerly known as Prince because no one knows what fucking symbol that is.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I know what the symbol is. Looking at the symbol in itself, it reminds me of one of the starships from one of those bad 60s films.
Oh, you're talking about Meta?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I was meaning the whole Prince debacle, and he turned himself into a symbol.
Well, he had to, because he sold the copyright of his name.
So, yeah, he just got referred to as the artist formerly known as Prince, because we don't know what the fuck that is. But anywho, no. And not actually just bad 60s. There's actually, that infinity symbol thing looks a lot like the, the alien ships in, oh God, what is the name of that series? It's actually really flipping cool. It's a really good series. It's really trippy too. But anyway, talking about the 60s and trippy though. I'll think of it later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
from one of the binges.
yeah. But
Oh,
it's,
give Aeson his flamethrower and you won't need to bother the alcohol.
thank you, Brenda, for continuing to support my I don't want another flamethrower. I want the flamethrower.
I want not another flame, or not a flame. Like what you wanted was it's not a flamethrower.
Right.
God. Every episode, we gotta try to support his need for a flamethrower.
Yes. We're lobbying.
I know, right? You need it for strictly non-Bernie purposes.
Right.
Totally scientifical research.
Well, not solely scientific, metaphysical research. I want to work with the element of fire, and that's the easiest way to do it. That or take me to Hawaii.
It is not. It's not the easiest way to work with fire. I had the best friend in high school who, I swear to God, I don't know how his parents afforded this child, but his favorite pastime was literally drinking alcohol onto surfaces, vodka. He loved vodka. Not to drink, but to light on fire.
Ooh.
He just constantly, he didn't drink it. He lit it on fire. He was this boy scared us for a while. Can I point out? Because his backyard looked like he was living in a third world country that was bombed frequently. You know, he blew shit up constantly. Can I say he's lucky?
Ooh, I didn't even know that. Of course, I'm not in the Discord universe. Wow.
We lost our translator on Discord because Google quit talking to it. See, let me tell you what happened. Actually, Second Life did this years ago. Once upon a time, Google Translator, to make sure that they had, a working piece of software that actually did adequately translate text and to work out all the bugs, they offered an API for that for absolutely free. And then everyone basically did the complete and total beta, absolute every last possible bug workout humanly possible. And they turned around and started charging for it. And that license ain't cheap.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say more than likely that's part of what has happened. Either that or they F their API up and Discord just isn't on top of that. Because that's a big thing. Discord's big. And the ability to live translate and more importantly in an app that size, in a environment as big as Discord, it doesn't take much.
No.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, now technically that happened years ago, but it means that if Discord was still running that, because a lot of places just said fuck that, and walked away. The licensing is extremely high. Yeah.
But no, a lot of API, thank you, Congress, for being a little dick, is closing off, is limiting, is locking down, and people had services built in with the API to work with them, and companies are going, great, thank you, your API no longer works for us.
Yeah, well, now Brenda, with the Google API for translation, It's not that they finally got you. It's very possible either they've made changes that Discord hasn't responded to yet, or Discord just finally said, screw you, we ain't paying for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, the rent is too damn high.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's flipping expensive. The licensing on that is insane.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But now for Facebook, that's a cute little boondoggle. That and we're seeing more and more of this. Is you ever have that moment where you later realize what someone was actually talking about? Like their double speak was good. Like their kung fu was strong. Nice old movie reference for anyone who gets that. Their kung fu was strong. They came in talking about meta and metaverse and this whole conceptual idea. And to be honest, I thought it was just going to be another part of like the Facebook family of companies. Like we've seen that with like, they picked up Instagram.
Right.
They didn't they integrated it, but they didn't really like take it over.
Right.
Like it's integrated, but it's not taken over.
Mm-hmm.
WhatsApp, they bought that and they've done a lot with it.
Yeah.
But they haven't taken it over. They did not like consume it.
Right.
So I thought this was where Meta was headed, is they were going to create a new company.
Mm-hmm.
And a new division of the company that was going to be a large part of their forward future strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was going to very much be, Facebook, but in the form of Second Life.
Right.
As in, it's not just Facebook.
Right.
It's Facebook in an AI in environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's all your friends. You can interact with them this way. You can do this. You can do that. You can do this other thing. And I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited. I was like, go Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was everything Second Life wanted to become. You're doing it.
Yeah.
Which was, but then what we're noticing is Facebook is really Meta is really locking down on this concept of no, we're creating a whole world that you're either going to be in or out on.
Mm-hmm.
And like the future of Facebook is we're going to dump you you are going to be dumped from Facebook into metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
We are prepping all the data. We are verifying the identities. We are breaking software to, like, we put all our money on this horse.
Right.
And so part one is, and I'll let you go into this in just a second, because that's like oh my God, regarding their stock. But yeah, so part one is what they're doing financially, and then part two is what they're actually doing with services, third parties, business pages, all of it.
Right.
Which is they're very much working very hard to tie you to an identity, to ensure that identity is yours, and prep you to get dumped into metaverse. Like, that's what I'm seeing.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to unsee it.
Right.
Is they are very forcefully prepping the world for, you are going to go into a 3D online virtual environment. And that is the new Facebook. You are going to wear this as glasses. You are going to use this in a more, in a richer way at home. you are going to constantly be in and interacting in a 3D space, in a virtual space. Flat static, you're on Facebook is not going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, start a riot, we're burning down the internet.
Well, actually, what this comes out of, and this is a longer, trippier thing, is for those that remember, we had a lot of Congress getting upset over social media and very upset over their limits. They were making claims that Instagram, that it was an unfair trade deal to buy for Facebook to buy Instagram and keep Instagram running together. All right. And that that it was unfair to how they used their API, and it was unfair. And why do they allow this to happen, that to happen, when fucking Congress don't even know what a fucking Facebook status update is?
Mm-hmm.
And that they were, crushing their competition by not allowing every company that wanted access to their API as their API. And then there was a large security question about the API use.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because it hands over a lot of data.
Yeah.
Or can. Like, if you're a business and you are, like, programming in this space specifically, and running groups, and you're running, those cool polls that you see, or those, like name test, for example, when you sign up to use those, they do a data dump, or did. They probably still do. But they did a pretty massive data dump of who you are. It's not just like your name and your profile photo. Right. They were doing a massive, like, here's everything.
Yeah. Here's everything. Okay.
You gave us money.
Anyhow, Congress really pissed Zuckerberg off, and it was really bad press. Okay. And yeah, I'll be taking questions here in a little bit, Casey, because I do questions on this show in between topics. Can you throw a banner up about that? Thank you. But anyway, so around early January, we started hearing the metaverse takeover. They did this lovely presentation of what the metaverse is. And it was a large presentation and a double speak about security, and how they were going to improve security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they improve security by limiting the API access and limiting the API thing. There are things on websites that have been used, events. Yeah, if you're used to, if you're a creator and you're used to being able to share an event and it automatically interlinking with your website, which Google done this to us also a couple years ago when their interlinking calendar stopped working. So what he's done, and it's really interesting reading the stock report, that this quarter was the first quarter that Facebook lost followers. Really interesting. Mm-hmm. Interesting. This quarter is the first, and then I saw why. He's divided the company Facebook, that is now Meta, into 4 different branches. Mm-hmm. So there are 4 independent branding companies working underneath their own selves. One is business, one is their app family, one is the Instagram, and one is the WhatsApp. If you're a business owner that uses WhatsApp, you now have business WhatsApp. You now have Meta Business Suite. You now have Instagram. He basically said, fine, I'll break it apart and put it back together. But I think he's squeezing it out. I think he's pulling a coal company behavior.
Yeah. Effectively evacuate all the assets, abandon all the liabilities, and then prepare to go insolvent.
Right. And then also, I think that he is taking anything that is competition to Facebook and locking it down. I.e., here's an example. Our booking and scheduling system went wacko on Monday. We go to find out why. I'm on a chat with this company, who is wonderful customer service, going, what's wrong? And they're like, we don't know. We're waiting. Have you done this? Yes. 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 Is this how you? Yep. You got to set up just like we said. Oh, here it is. Your Facebook API is broke.
Yeah.
And they've limited it to only this sectional things. So we had to go and redo it and explain to our customers that it's not us that did it. It's not even the vendor that we employ to provide us this service. It's your Facebook.
Yeah. Well, effectively, the Facebook we all know and love, aka Meta, that went through. And now, correct me if I'm wrong. You were also telling me that effectively, so the scheduling software has a parent company,
Right.
and then that parent company was bought by or bought into by one of the two.
Right.
Facebook. And it looks like what they're getting ready to do, because I'm going to lay dollars to no nuts. This is what they're getting ready to do. They're getting ready to consume it.
No. It was bought. It was bought by Squarespace. Squarespace is owned by the parent company of Facebook.
Well, see, what I'm ready to bet dollars to donuts on is they're getting ready to consume it, and basically this is going to be your premium version of Facebook appointment booking.
Right.
Is you're going to have the basic, like this is your generic, this is what you get, like this is how it works. It's a little wonky, you know, like, because come on. Can we just talk real quick? Facebook appointments, if you're running a business page, fuck me, that's stupid. It is like, not that you're using it, but like what it does, the way it is built, the complexity of it, it's horribly organized.
Right.
It's a giant pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Like setting it up is a nightmare. Using it isn't horrific.
Right.
Like I've seen worse.
Right.
But at the same time, like it's a real struggle bus to get it happy.
Right.
And then turn around and like a lot of people have been spending money for this software. We spent money for it. It's great software. It works beautifully, or did. And it was really wonderful if you were in one of two situations. If you wanted to if you actually had a multi-location, multi-provider practice, great software for that.
Right.
And worked beautifully with all the different, like you could very specifically form your code, form your API access to work in a way that allowed you to very specifically target like what location, what providers, and only display that. And it only, it nicely integrated. You could integrate it in your website, integrate it with Facebook. You could do all kinds of fun stuff.
Or you could even integrate it with Google Profile. Which, I'm still working out my Google business profile. Sorry, it's not been a big thing for 10 years now. It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I kind of, But so all was well, happy, fine, and good. Option 2, however, is for those of you who are eagle-eyed, and what we did, was well, wait a minute. If we can upgrade that account and support multiple providers at multiple locations, and you can display different, business names for each of those, like, you could have, like, just pulling business names out of my head, but like you could have a business that is like, Mom and Pops Are Us as location 1, and multiple providers there, and then you could have your local handyman and multiple providers there, and you could have, ABC accounting and multiple providers there. And we went, and it doesn't really cost that much. Not when you're looking at it from a multiple provider standpoint. Like the bump in fee was like it doubled compared to what you were spending at one point for just individual you to use it. And we went, that's cool as shit. Like, like, this is awesome. It wasn't a real big bump. Talk about value price software, which is a thing that really excites me. Like, it can suck on the front end when it's like, I'm alone. I need this for my business. But like 20 some bucks a month is a tough sell.
Right.
But if like you can treat it like a fucking Netflix account and share it with your friends and family and all your exes.
But that's going to get cracked down too. Watch it. Because it's an API Netflix? Access. Netflix. It'll be next.
Well, before we scare everyone, but finishing this out, so it was all well, fine, and good. This is great. You can do this. Like, we could include this as a value offering for clients. And it was like, sweet. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, it was like doubling that price just for you would have been a tough sell for me. It's like, that's 1.5 15-minute readings. Or excuse me, that is, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
1.5 15-minute readings. And it's like, that's a tough sell, honey. Like, what do you get for that again? Like, why would you need that? But when you turn around and what you're actually looking at is, okay, but if we spend twice the money and we divide that cost across, multiple clients, it's negligible. That extra, oomph is negligible.
Right. It's
really easy to say, well, the income from this helps to offset the cost of this.
Right.
Okay, I'm there. Let's do that.
Right.
But yeah, so apparently a lot of people did that, and a lot of, plus a lot of people were using it in its actual intended version. Because none of this was against their term of service. Like, what we were doing was not against their terms of service. Right. It was totally acceptable. They're like, we can't.
And really designed for their services.
Right.
It's like they sold it to me before I sold it to anybody else.
So yeah, I'm cool with that. And I love a company that gets it.
Yeah.
Like, our service is expensive, but if you combine a bunch of people together, it's not that bad.
Right.
Like, please bring your friends and family. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But so they were on board with this. They were cool with this. The problem comes in. Facebook is like, that's interesting. Because what we see is we have an investment that we could be making, not just 50 or, the monthly upper package price on and multiples using. We could sell each of you, that same $23 or the same $20-some per month. And all we have to do is come over here and go, boop. We broke your API. No, we're not going to fix it. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Like, let me tell you now.
Yeah.
That was a moment, because we had to fix a lot of clients.
Yes, and move clients and build clients. And then, but this company is like, oh, you're going to do that, are you? Well, here, let me create a new plan.
Like, we know what you just did. We know our clients are pissed.
Let's create a plan
And
that's half the price of the original without the API. You know, if the business doesn't need API access, fine. Here it is without the Facebook API.
And like it is like you gotta love that moment of like companies buying companies and exploiting companies just to have the company that gets bought and exploited to be like, go fuck yourself. Which is basically what that scheduling vendor did. Is they basically showed up and went, that's nice. Go fuck yourself.
Right, because this is
I love
it. They didn't do it to just this scheduling vendor. They done it to all the vendors that are paying for API access. See, that's the thing is Facebook doesn't just hand out API access. This is what they get for they charge this company for the API access, and then the company got shortchanged into a smaller API, limited more access.
Well, yeah, effectively, it's like, here's your business model that you built around your ability to use this API this way. And here's what we're going to do with that.
Right.
We're going to change it dramatically. You're going to hemorrhage customers who are pissed.
Yes.
And may not technically understand the technical details of what we did.
Yeah.
Like, all they know is they're paying you for a thing that used to do this, that no longer does that. And all you can offer them is, please spend more money.
Yeah.
If you would like that.
Yeah.
On a per.
And the same thing happened with WooMooCommerce. The same thing has happened with WooMooCommerce. I used to be able to integrate my WooMooCommerce into my site. Now I can no longer integrate my WooMooCommerce into my Facebook site.
It's sad. Your time in banking has made it impossible for you to say WooCommerce.
Woomoo.
Because your head says WAMU.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. It's funny, the things that you spend time around in business that will break your ability to say some things.
Exactly.
Because it just diverts over.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so my scheduling vendor, I can't say their name right either.
Yes. It's Acuity.
Yes.
Like, he's been calling this Audacity for the longest time. And it was funny because I ended up having to do the client notice.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Acuity, and everyone's like, oh, well, okay, whatever that is.
Right.
And then suddenly one of the clients got it. And they're like, wait a minute. You mean Audacity? Audacity's down? It's like, yes, it's Acuity. Oh.
Yeah. So that's been the fun IT story of every IT company around.
I can't imagine anyone who does websites, social media integration is not just like, hand me the Excedrin and a bottle of wine tonight.
No, this was at Amarillo Sours.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like some of my tech friends that are in the banking industry, they're having Amarillo Sours tonight. Guaranteed.
Like this whole Facebook bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no. No. This is like cheap hookers and blow night.
No, honey.
Like, if you're in investment banking?
No, they've got a changeover. They have to do a changeover on Saturday. So it's not hookers and blow. It's Amarillo Sours and Netflix.
Yeah, so Brenda points out Facebook is a waste of time, is to waste time, not where I want to live.
Right.
I understand that. And I think that's where it's been for a lot of people. And I don't know that. I think Facebook is really over betting.
Well, they
on
are, but if they
something.
create this technology, one of Aeson's, I made an offhanded comment in an interview with a dude. We were talking about, I provide phone and chat and video and in
Second Life.
person and Second Life. And I said, in 10 years, they'll have me a damn hologram.
Yeah, basically.
If Zuck occurs that he's moved my timeline, well, no, he's right on time.
Well, you're not going to really be a hologram. You're going to be a digital recreation. Like, if you saw his digital recreation.
Yes, that he done
Like,
the interview with.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
Uh-huh.
Like for an avatar, it's pretty spot on.
Uh-huh.
Like, and that makes me worry. Here's
Yeah.
why I'm worried. There's like because back up. Have you seen all the companies offering to take your digital measurements? Like you send them a variety of photos and they'll take your digital measurements and do custom order clothing for a better fit. I'm wondering if that wasn't software basically in trial or effectively going to get reused here to create your digital avatar.
That would be interesting.
Because imagine if you just take a few photos of yourself and instead of getting, shirts that fit and, an automatic bra sizing and an automatic this, perfectly cut pants, that what you actually get is a digital recreation avatar that Facebook now knows every single dimension you have.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I want my other avatar. I don't want this avatar. This avatar is cute, but I'm sorry. My avatar in Second Life is hot as hell. That's the avatar I want.
Well, but here's the thing is this is going to definitely push the boundaries of online honesty. And I think that's where Zuckerberg is. Because if you've noticed, a large part of what he has done has been very against the idea of not represent of anyone being on Facebook that isn't representing their authentic self.
Right.
And that's been a hot button, especially for people who are trans.
Right.
And that has to do with gender and naming.
Well, but there's also other problems with that. Pagan community has been one of them. This is why we had to create the pagan. Well, we didn't have to. We chose to create the pagan nexus. MountaineerPaganNexus.com to go over to community. It is a secure pagan community. Because Facebook, you don't want your boss. Some people do not want their boss knowing that. No, I'm also on the weekends Blue Fire Angel.
Well, and more importantly, that's a legitimate identity.
Yeah.
Like that is a second name or maybe a third or fifth or 27th, whatever, wherever you are on your journey. But it is another name that you go by. It is a legitimate name for you. It is, and with that being common, which I didn't even get that. Like little baby me who knew nothing. Or like, and I had pagan friends in college. Like, I hung out with like tons of pagans. It's been a recurrent theme. Pagans like me. I'm hot in pagan. Sorry, but it seems to be how it works. But anyway, I've had tons of pagan friends. I never understood that there was a whole second naming process. And like I did not know these things as like that was not shared with me. And then we get together, Aeson and I am suddenly confronted by the reality that sometimes in his head he switches back and forth.
Right.
And so he's talking to me about the same person with two different names. And I'm going, Like, what kind of horrific, tennis is this?
It depends on what I'm talking
Pick
about.
one. Like,
No.
well, but more importantly, I think he's talking about two different people. And I'm sitting here going back and forth, watching the tennis match, the ping pong match, going, wait, what? And he's like, they're the same person. And I'm like, oh God, do you know what you've done to my brain? There are two half-formed individuals now that have to get slammed together.
Right.
Like, ow. No, please don't do that to me. Like, I need to know in the beginning. Oh, Brenda and Devin, y'all are just sweet. You know what? I think I want to give them a 50% off coupon for you just for that. Like, y'all are like lovely.
Brenda already has
They're
one.
delicious.
You'll have to make a new one, but yes, you can do that.
Okay.
But no, and it depends on what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about going to Walmart, going out for coffee, I'll use what I call their English name. If I'm talking about going to a festival, dealing with ritual, working in healing, I'll use their pagan name. And then if we're going to go out and hike and do, go on a weekend journey or whatever, I'll use their gypsy name, the Rom name. And it confuses the hell out of him for the people that are in all four spaces.
Yeah, and that's been a long-standing problem of mine.
Yeah.
Because mentally, like, let me tell you about the 80s, okay? Back in the 80s, people's names were very unique identifiers in the Joe Brain database. Like, you know what I mean? And he lived through the 80s and then the 90s, and then he went to college. And then he started meeting the first people, because all the way through high school, like, no one's name really changed a whole lot on him. Like, he had a few people in his life that got married and their name changed a little. But, he integrated that information. Like, the database, like, fixed the unique identifier. But then he went to college.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And trans visibility was in its infancy. Okay? Like, it was kind of still in its, like, infancy. It was toddlering. In becoming a mainstream concept. Like, we were still using horrible words to describe trans people. Okay? And he started meeting his first trans people and learning the word dead naming, and that okay, people have legal names, they're on their legal documents that indicate one gender, and then they have names that represent their actual identity of who they are. And okay, all right, that's a little bit of struggle, because now I have two people in my head because there's two unique identifiers that point to one human. That's been a struggle for me, okay? Like, I just need to explain that to people. I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just somehow name became a unique identifier for people, and it instantly told me who someone was, because it was like the unique pointer record that had the whole concept of who that person was. Oh, I struggle with that. Like, I struggle with and especially with friends of mine that are, I knew you for a long period of time under this name and this identity, this name and this gender, and now I know you as this name and this gender. My brain has to try to slam the two of you back together, because like, in my head, that's like two separate people that are actually the same, and I'm trying to merge so that the right data pops.
Right.
But my
Now,
memory,
I don't even
like,
introduce you to the third level of, the Nexus, what I call the Nexus brain model versus the Oracle brain model, which is when I also have code names for people.
oh, yeah. See, I can't. No. See, Joe's going to tell a story here just a second.
Uh-huh.
Back in college, really cool public speaker was talking about, the wonderful ways in which you could help yourself with mental tricks by taking a feature or something about someone that you immediately see and linking it to their name. I feel real bad for Bad Teeth McGurdy. I will never forget her name. That was the first person that my brain tried to do that to. And that was the most noticeable thing about her is, heaven help that poor woman. She needed orthodontics and like a lot. Like, she needed an orthodontist stat emergency. Please help that woman. And every time I saw her after that, all I could think was bad teeth, bad teeth, bad teeth, bad teeth, bad teeth, bad teeth. It linked right to her name. Her name.
Yep.
And I went, I can't do this. I cannot think of, because it went so terribly wrong. I'm like, if I inadvertently do that and like I just keep picking the worst traits of people because they're like, boom, noticeable. I don't want to be running around with a whole file of names in my head that I remember your name because of the worst thing about your appearance. Like, that makes me, like, I still feel terrible.
Right. Well, no,
Like,
I have and we've talked about my phone system, and it really comes out of the chat world. My phone book really did come out of the out of the 1990s and 2000s chat world. But I have, there are people in my life like a Moon's Maiden. I don't know her real name. I don't think I've ever memorized her real name. I think it's something like June or something like that. But anyway, I have people filed in my head by their usernames.
That's a problem for me. Can I talk about now? Let's take a second. Let's hop back to the early days, or like the late 90s. Like the late 90s, you got your Yahoo Messenger and AOL Messenger, and both of those systems, for the longest damn time, only showed you their screen names.
Right.
I have a whole other separate file that has like Missy Ho and Evil Hansen Bro and screen names. I know those people in real life. I still can't merge their identities. Can't do it. I've tried for years. I seriously have.
Oh my God.
These are legit friends of mine in real life that I could walk up to and touch. And every once in a while, mid-conversation, I'm just looking over at someone going, hey, Missy Ho. Evil Palace Athena.
Yeah. Poor Joe. He lives in such a, there are reasons that I'm glad we have our phone behaviors. Because if I ever asked him to call somebody out of my contact list, he is lost. If I asked him to message them, he is lost. And in conversations when I'm going, well, I have to go out with Prairie Sun this weekend, and we're going to go for a backpacking hike, and while we're there, we're going to probably work on some metallurging and yada, yada, yada. He is lost when I says, I have to pick Angela up at 5 o'clock. You're going camping this weekend? Yeah. With Prairie Sun? Yeah. totally
Is there
wrong.
more details?
Then why are you
Like-
picking Angela up?
Yeah, like I'm like two discrete human beings.
Aren't you
This
glad
is
I
what I'm
don't do
saying.
drag anymore?
Oh God. Yes. Yes.
That would just mess you up if I ran into somebody that was a chat person, that is filed in my phone book as a chat person, that is filed also in my brain as the boy and the girl, and they're pagan, so there's another filing context to that index file.
Yeah, that's where my head begins to explode. But see now, I know where this comes from for me. Like, this is the layer that just makes it all even more insane. I know where it started. My mother had unique nicknames for people. She would just meet you for the first time, and your name is now, and that's who you are.
Well, that's like Susan.
It's who you are. You just that's who you are. So there were whole people that I know as one name. I can't give you a legal fucking name. I don't know a damn beginning to get to that. I know this nickname. That's who you are. That's who you ever were. Yeah, and then in West Virginia, you need to know their nickname, which they use more than their real names. Not to mention, let me also point this out, volunteering in a hospital. Oh, you have no idea the number of people that come in looking for, say Shirley, their neighbor that they've known for 50 some years, who they know she's in the hospital. They brought her here, a couple of days ago. And no, ma'am, I don't have a Shirley Johnson. Do like, is it possible that's like a nickname, or was her maiden name Johnson? Are you sure the last name's Johnson? Are you sure the first name's Shirley? And it got to a point, like we went round for round with like hospital administration on this, the volunteers did, to get to the point of, can you tell me their address? Because that's enough information that we can verify who this person is, and as long as I don't tell you their legal name, I can direct you to Shirley's room.
Right.
Okay. I have had it come in so far off, only to find out much, much later, or from someone else who actually knows Shirley Johnson, that like her real name is like Deborah Smith. Like, it's leagues and fathom. Shirley isn't a middle name. It's a nickname. Johnson is the name of the man that she's been in a relationship with for 50 some years. Funny story, they never got married. She just adopted calling herself Mrs. Johnson and introducing herself as his wife. And no one ever, like, can I see your marriage certificate? Like, because who does that?
Right.
So Shirley Johnson was born. It drives me crazy. We had the worst time with that, though. Like, Brenda, you're not wrong. It can be a total nightmare in West Virginia.
Well, it's
Like,
a total
people
nightmare everywhere. How many cookies do you know? I know at least 5.
Oh, I've known a few. And then there's like, there's just so many variations. And people who hate their first name, or they shorten it, or they do this to it, or they do that to it, or, you know, like, or Bubba's. I swear to God, go Sal. Every motherfucker has a brother named Bubba. Every motherfucker you run into has someone, an older brother. It's always an older brother. And that's where it started. Was because this poor little kid couldn't say their first name, couldn't say the word brother properly, but they could mumble out a blah. And suddenly this poor dude has to spend the rest of his life being called by all his younger siblings Bubba. Oh, Cassie and Jerry points out my nickname for my dad is Bubba. I'm sorry.
All right. For Patreon members, Rowan Temple Light made the comment they want to see my drag pic. I have uploaded again my drag pic and my other pic when I used to dance. So both of those are up for Patreon members. If you want to be on Patreon, you need to go over to Patreon. You need to go over and join so you can get into the break room.
Okay, I'm going to share something. Because Cassie and Jerry has brought up it's embarrassing regarding nicknames. So y'all get a unique special here. So when little baby Joe is all cute and adorable and running around and like doing some change 3 foot high, everyone thought it'd be cute to call him JoJo. And there are whole relatives. And there's probably still a few in the family tree that would still call me JoJo. JoJo. I went to school, okay? And our poor kindergarten teacher, well, it was first grade when this happened. 3 Josephs, 1 classroom. That teacher quickly set us down and said, you are Joseph, you are Joey, you are Joe. I got Joe. That became my name. And whatever, it made her life easier. The 3 of us didn't turn around and stare her in the face going, what? In unison. Got it. I understand this. We all 3 got it. So we go forward with this, and except for a few relatives here and there, no one calls me JoJo. No one. Then I get to high school. And I start dating. And someone got the bright idea, lightning bolted through their head, to nickname a certain appendage. Okay. Of the eggplant variety, JoJo. And I said, no. See, you can't do that. Like, there's trauma there. It kept occurring. Okay. I accepted. This is how this was going to go. I'm not winning this one. But can I tell you, after someone nicknames your eggplant, that when you have family members you haven't seen in a long time come up to like 16, 17, 18-year-old you, and they start calling you JoJo, it hits weird. It hits weird. It's like, why are you addressing my eggplant?
Keep it up, JB.
Stop using it.
Keep it up, JB.
Yeah. Cassie and Jerry, that's where I was at. Like, I just, it's like, no, you can't call me that anymore. Where I did, no.
All right. Yeah, we'll just stick with JB.
Well, that's just your nickname for me. Let's clarify.
Yes.
You're not talking to my eggplant.
I would prefer the whole body. I don't need to talk to an appendage of your body. That is a sign of schizophrenia.
It was a moment though, because I had gone ahead and just accepted this, and it didn't happen immediately. It was much later that the first relative did it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm standing there trying not to die laughing.
Uh-huh.
And I can't even begin to explain this. 16-year-old brain couldn't even begin to like, oh God, this is hilariously bad.
I just cannot get how people, like, apparently I'm the first one to call him JB.
Yeah, no one did.
I still don't get that. Like, you should have been like JB at like 5th grade.
No. Probably because I went to school with a BJ.
Probably.
And if I remember right, the last name did not make that nickname any better.
Okay.
Like, he embraced the fact that this was a really long dick joke.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that's who he was.
Right. All right, so we got some readings to do, and then I want to go talk about what the furries are up to. Because, you know, furries, when they get evil, they get evil.
Well, the furries are never evil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, Devin worked with a JB that was a total, complete stoner moron.
That's not where it comes from. It comes from 2 places. 1, Dynasty. And 2, how he files shit.
Okay.
Took me forever to figure out what some of these files are. JB Life Planner. JB College Foundation.
No. JBA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I use initials, and that does mess people up.
Yeah.
Is because instead of putting someone's whole fucking long ass name on shit, like I create file folder labels that have like my initials. Like I did this for my grandmother's stuff. It had her initials on it. Like all of Dad's stuff, like from where he passed, and there was the like the inheritance and all that crap. All that has his initials on it. Like, because sometimes it's like, one, I want to be able to push all of that back here where it belongs, because that all goes together. That's for one human. And then like all of her stuff, that's for one human. And then there's my stuff.
Right. Yeah. But the problem is when you're working with the conglomerate stuff and it's AFK, and I'm like, oh, that goes in the front. And it's like, that's right beside my stuff.
Well, yeah, because there's AFK and ARK.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just confuse your dyslexic husband when he's trying to file shit. All right, let's get these questions going on so we can get into talking about what the furries are up to.
Okay. All right, so yeah. I'm sorry, I was laughing too hard. What are we doing? Readings?
Questions.
Questions. Take the questions. Alrighty, so I'm trying to catch back up.
First one's Devin.
Yeah, I know. I just keep seeming to scroll past it. There we go. So Devin 31678. Will I get my short-term disability?
Well, let's see what this deck has in it. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to give it to you all it is. There's going to be some drama with this short-term disability. I don't know if they can't keep up with paperwork or just morons. One of the two, document their ass, because we have Drama Mama sitting here. We then have the Three of Coins. So yes, you'll get your short-term disability. It may be a little late though, just because of this bullshit. But then I think you have to battle to keep it, which is ridiculous. Okay? After that, I think that it settles itself out. You'll feel a little defeated, but you'll be able to move forward on this path. My advice to you, and they're echoing as the Page of Coins, document, budget. Paperwork out your yazoo. Just clear a file cabinet. Okay? Journal, like if they call you on the phone, journal. Talked with Melissa, 2:45 on February the 11th, about short-term disability accounting.
Dot your I's, cross your T's.
Make it look like military filing or Joe's filing cabinet. One of the two, honey.
Oh yeah. So you're talking about the notes that I make on like statements and stuff?
No, I'm talking about if me and you buy something together, there are two files of the purchase. One in my files, one in his files. When it should have just went to JBAK and been done with it.
Alrighty. So question number 2.
Okay.
All right, Cassie and Jerry, 9398. Will my anxiety and health get better since I started my meds?
All right, I have to give this pre-warning. I am not a doctor. Please follow doctor recommendations. Always consult your physician about any concerns medically. However, the psychic information is this. Yes, and it actually opens up opportunities for you emotionally to be able to be more expressive and work through what's giving you the anxiety. But you're going to have to get up and get motion. With the Knight of Cups here, you got to get up and find your passion, go do something, but you also have to get up and move. So whatever meds they put you on, for them to process through your body, you have to move. This occurs with a lot of medicine. It's so that it can actually get the blood flow to be reaching where you need it to be. So you're going to have to put it into an exercise program.
All right. Well, I think that gets us caught up on questions.
Yes.
There we go. So now we have furries.
Yes. Now, let's go ahead and give a basic definition of furries because it's not a common word yet.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I'm finding that, like, it's more common than we thought.
It is.
Like, I didn't know that was becoming, like, a people know.
Yeah. But anyway, for those that don't know, it's the people that do the cons and they dress up in character animal formed identities.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They've been known to cause a little trouble and a little aggravation in Las Vegas when they come into town. Now they're causing a little fur tough up in Mississippi because they're mad at a mayor for being a racist asshole. Mm-hmm. But go into the story, darling.
All right, so furries are leading the war against a book banning Mississippi mayor. Furries are helping fund a library after a mayor tried to ban books containing, quote, homosexual materials, end quote. Oh, last week, Mississippi, and this is from the 2nd of February, so we're talking back in January, a Mississippi mayor tried to strong-arm a local library into banning some books. The result was swift and, in retrospect, entirely predictable. A group of furries got on Twitter to do something about it. We love Vice. They just don't mince words. So, yeah. The first tweet came on Friday from, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, Sotok, Soatok, a furry with an avatar of a sparkling blue wolf-like creature. We interrupt your usual program of shitpost, memes, and cute fursuits to bring you something with real-world impact. So yeah, and that was the news that Mayor Gene McGee of Ridgeland, Mississippi, was withholding $110,000 of funding from the Madison County Library System. Library officials told the Mississippi Free Press that the mayor had demanded they purge their collection of LGBTQ books, which he called homosexual materials, before his office would release the money. Well, that pissed some furries off.
Yeah. And they put their money where their mouth is. Or gills. Well, there's got to be fish furries.
Well, process that with me. Does there have to be? Because I would think those would be called scalies.
I would assume that they would be.
Because wouldn't the furry... Like, I get the furries because the furries have fur.
Mm-hmm.
But do you mean to tell me that, like, there's dragon furries?
Yes.
I had not thought this far. I'm good now. Continue.
Okay. So with 2 days ago, they hit 100% of their goal, and they went over that goal by almost like $300. I'm quite sure that the library can find something to do with it. But the campaign was called and there's a label action. I'm just looking at their update page. They had over 2,435 backers.
Devin's with me. Mind blown.
I'm looking at some of these comments, and they're interesting. Furries make the internet go round, stop censorship, read books, Fahrenheit 50, Someone should point out to the mayor that he lives in a democracy, not a religious autocation. Keep up the good fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, like, like we said quite a while back, like, you gotta fuck up real bad to get excommunicated by, like, the Methodists.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty easygoing, okay?
All right.
But if you tried pissing off furries, like, they're all cute and cuddly until you piss them off. All right? Like, this is your learning lesson. Is they're cute. They're cute. Furries are fucking cute, okay? Like, who gets upset?
Right.
About furries? Like, they're adorable.
Yeah. And they're a lot of work. The costumes alone are a lot of work. They do some amazing furry creations. There's a lot of work that goes into that. But what's interesting is this wasn't led by, like, a coalition. This was like...
Yeah.
Fish furries are called fishies. Okay. Thank you, Brenda. Love the PA assistant.
I'm sitting here going, no. They don't have fur. They can't be furries.
But they're within the same coalition. But it's not a group. It is single furry stepping up and going, here's $10. By the God, shut up, mayor. Here's 20. Here's 250 to stop the bigotry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Like, again, they're all cute and cuddly till you piss them off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like drag queens are hilarious.
Till you
until you piss them off. Like, don't fuck with the drag queens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that stiletto is a steel spike.
Mm-hmm.
Or a titanium spike. It will hurt.
Apparently, it's 54 stitches.
Well, there you go. Now you know. The more you know. So yeah, no, don't like. There's just certain groups, like, don't screw with them.
Right.
Like, they are not.
Right, but this is things that but there's a double thing here. There's a lot of libraries that are counting on support from our counties, our cities, our states, and they fail every time. They try to bring politicism into education. There is a large declaration within the Constitution, before all the amendments, that says there is a separation of church and state.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to be held up.
Well, and then our entire library system is built on an entire, basically what this mayor is asking for is never supposed to happen to our library system.
Right.
Like the concept of a library,
right,
is never supposed to be at this kind of political, ideological whim of whoever gets elected and controls the purse strings. Like, it's not supposed to happen.
Right.
Like, you should not have to purge books for that kind of reason.
Right.
Like, just to get the funding that you need.
Right. Well, and this calls back to something that, libraries can't get people to go in and read to children. Drag queens go in and read. They dress as Disney characters. They dress as whatever. Age appropriate. A lady always knows how to look right in a perfect situation. Michelle, St. James, Broadway. They had bomb threats. They had shooting threats. They had idiots carrying AK-57s into a library. What were they going to do? Look at how to load the sucker? Okay. But they still can't get it. Okay. They had to stop it for the child safety.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a mayor in Mississippi holding funding from a library that desperately needs the funding, not to buy more books, but to operate. The library was created by Ben Franklin. Founding father wrote a good bit of the Constitution, kept America funded during the American Revolution, faced the king when he decided to tell the king off. Yeah, that one, the one that left his wife and children in Philadelphia and went to France for 5 years to get us more people in here. That one, yeah, he created this. And the Republican rednecks, thank you, Devin, for the words, and these evangelicals are using the power of their office and should be disposed of. And disposed. He should have been fired.
Well, and here's the thing. Because I don't have a problem that this isn't what this mayor believes in. That he's sitting here going, I just don't believe kids should be, have this accessible to them. Is basically what he's saying. I don't have a problem with his belief. I don't have a problem with his belief. Stop attacking the fucking library system. Leave the library alone. That's where we differ. Is not like, I don't care that he has a different ideological belief. Like, I will gladly defend his ability to protest. I will gladly defend his ability to go stand on a corner in a free speech area and shout to the high heavens about the horrors of the books available at that library. He has every right to do that. But you're going to use your elected public official office and your ability to control funds to demand that a library dump its book catalog related to this topic when you already know this isn't like, bonus money or fun money or a free gift. This is literally the money that they use to pay employees. And it will shut this library down if they do not comply. No, that's not free speech.
Right.
The books are free speech. The withholding that money is not a form of speech.
Right. And it's not doing your job.
No.
It's not doing your job. And that's the difference there. I have a very lovely religious view on some things. Same time, my job prevents me from executing that religious view.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to give the information. His job is to be of the will of the people and do what is in his budget, is to release funds, is to run the city government there, is to show up and cut red ribbons. That's his job.
Yeah. Well,
he
and
does
moreover,
not even have voting power on the council.
Right. Well, but moreover, I'm wondering if there's going to end up being any, and maybe this is further down in the article and I somehow missed it, but if there's going to end up being legal action over what he's done, because this is not in his purview. Like the issue that prevented the release of those funds,
Mm-hmm.
I highly doubt it is something that he can claim, is an action that he was, justified in doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you defend this choice?
Mm-hmm.
And the fundamental problem was, I don't even think the library had time.
Right.
Because the money was, this is an immediate need to even explore that. Like,
right.
Take him to court. Our doors will be closed.
Mm-hmm.
We can't pay the bills.
Right.
We're effed. So, yeah.
Well, what I find interesting,
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled up the city website.
Mm-hmm.
And, their Google pickup is Richland County, where one of the most degraded cities in the state of Mississippi, nestled in Masson County. Regland is an award-winning master plan being used to guide. Are you shitting me?
No. Well, then again, this is, the joys of trying to bring people to your city.
Right.
Come on, we're in West Virginia. Like,
yeah,
we've seen some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen some interesting ways of describing cities in this area, and I'm like, that's
right.
That's some words. So yeah.
All right. Let's see. Did they even get a meeting out? When was their last meeting? I love the new. We can go in here. Oh, the third Thursday. This was 2:15. That's a regular board meeting on the third Thursday. The first was on the first Thursday. Let's go to the latest. Sorry, guys. I'm doing research as you watch me do
it. So you're looking to see if this turned into a to-do at the next city council meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, very fun, very fun. I'd say there was probably I would hope there was.
It is not within the notes.
Oh, wow.
Agenda. Awarding funds, awarding roadside, training, budget amendment. Nope. No. In the minutes.
Interesting.
Well, again, this was heralded on the first Tuesday of this month.
Yeah. So that was probably right as all this was developing.
Right.
Because wasn't the first Tuesday the second? No, that was the first. That was the first. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
they
that
went
next
into
meeting is going
they
to be
moved into
fun.
executive session.
It can be fun. Like, I just don't get it. It's like,
Oh,
it's a
he did make
simple.
a statement. I will
Oh,
use the power of selection. Well, hopefully.
yeah.
Uh,
And copy and paste that over.
yes.
Oh, good. I get to be the voice of the villain.
Yes.
Hurrah!
It's on page 4, darling.
Oh, wait, what?
I can't copy and paste it directly.
Oh, there we go.
It's on page 4.
Okay. So, alrighty. 1 second while I get used to this one. Section? No. In the executive session?
Minutes. Page 4.
Okay, so minutes. And sorry, I'm having to get used to the. I think I hit the wrong one. Let me go back. The executive session minutes.
Yes, it'll say page 4 of 0277.
Okay, sorry. I'm like, because I'm looking at the top, consideration of minutes from prior board meeting. Oh. Never mind. Got it now. I was having a derp. That was the previous board meeting minutes. All right. The mayor reopened the meeting, and City Attorney John Scanlon announced that there was no action taken by the Board of Aldermen during the executive session and read the following statement in the record. The City of Ridgeland has had a long and generous relationship with the Madison County Library System, making contributions, including providing the building in which the current Ridgeland branch of the library is housed, building maintenance, payment of utilities, and direct contributions of cash. The mayor and board of aldermen included within its current year budget for the library purposes a $110,000 allocation. This allocation may only be dispersed by order of the board of aldermen. No part of this allocation has been dispersed for the current budget year, nor is any allocation due from the city under the agreement purportedly between the city and the library system on which the library relies. The city of Ridgeland has for years enjoyed a harmonious relationship with the governing body of the library system. The governing authorities of the city of Ridgeland desire to rebuild and reestablish the harmonious relationship it once had with the governing body of the library system, all for the ultimate benefit of the citizens of the city of Ridgeland. It was discovered in review of this matter by the city of Ridgeland's legal advisors that there is currently no legally enforceable agreement between the library and the city. It is the city's intention to fulfill all its obligations and not wrongfully withhold any funds. It is the desire of the city of Ridgeland that a clear and unambiguous agreement between all parties be reached and properly spread on the minutes of all parties. The city, the Madison County Board of Supervisors, and the Madison County Library System. The city is currently in communication with the library board's attorney to pursue a legally enforceable agreement. Whoo! Oh, talk about careful effing wording.
Uh-huh.
So there is no technical agreement. This is a long-standing, they have provided contributions to the library. The library's become, as most libraries are underfunded anyway, they have become reliant upon that funding, just to have effectively what this has become is the city is a major donor. And effectively, public money is existing to that library as a private donation.
Right, which means the city can write it off from its corporate taxes.
Yeah. So instead, they are now looking to actually convert that situation into one in which this is an entity that there is a contractual agreement with. And it would look like this is such a... So, yeah, legally he could do what he did.
Yeah.
Like, there's no guarantee of this funding. That's fun. But yeah, I'd say that's probably been a really hot discussion.
Right.
About, a lot of things.
Oh, I think it needed a lot of things.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I know. What's scary is I was thinking of the other altercations that could be occurring.
Like, that's a like, I have to give that mayor credit. It looks and sounds like he called the city attorney before he started this stunt.
Oh no, he started this stunt, and the city attorney is playing catch up.
Oh, even more fun.
Yeah.
So he just happened into a situation in which technically you can do that. One of those, like, your attorney's kind of looking at you like,
you done what?
You can do it.
Why is CNN contacting my office for comment?
Yep. I got to be the one to say that, like, destroying our library system is like a totally doable thing because we technically don't have a legal contractual obligation. Like, talk about going home feeling like the Grinch. I would say you would have to, like, leave your office that day as, like, the city attorney going, God, that sucked.
Right.
Like, ugh. Ugh. And apparently, hi, Donna. I don't know. Looks like Devin invited someone named Donna. So I'm going to say hi to Donna.
Hi.
Oh, but yeah. That's a story.
Right.
All right. Are we ready for our next one?
We are. Let's see. Let's do some follow-up stories because we've got some follow-up stories. Let's talk about our lovely Matt in Mississippi again. Let's talk
Mississippi or Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we had another Mississippi story.
Right.
So, yeah, take it away.
All right. So you take it away.
I'm taking it away? Okay.
You're taking it away.
All right. So, does anyone remember the McCloskeys? They are that lovely gun-waving St. Louis couple. You remember Black Lives Matter? They stood in front of their house, kind of looking all suburban and stupid with, like, guns and just kind of like, get off our property. They were both lawyers.
Yes.
Well, yeah. The Missouri Supreme Court on Tuesday placed a St. Louis couple who gained national attention for waving guns at racial injustice protesters on probation as attorneys. The court suspended Mark and Patricia McCloskey's law licenses, but delayed the suspension and put the two on probation for a year. The order means the couple can still practice, but the suspension will take effect if they violate their probation by breaking any more laws. Mark McCloskey said Tuesday that he was disappointed by the ruling, but happy the court chose to put the couple on probation rather than suspend their licenses.
Well, here's the thing. I want them to break a law. God, get a speeding ticket. Jaywalk. I don't know. There's a lovely set of city ordinances there. I'm quite sure their subdivision is breaking some of them.
Seriously. Oh, but But he and his wife will comply with the order, McCloskey said, but he plans to consult with his attorney about the possibility of taking the case to the United States Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So they're suspended. They just need to get a traffic ticket so they can get totally done. I know, but this is the less way to tangent something, challenge it, is because they're not technically suspended. They're on probation. It's their choice to break another law.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of laws, as any lawyer can tell you.
Yes, we hire people all the time to read the laws. And people underneath them to read them.
There are so many books.
Yes.
Like, it's just crazy. There's local laws and state laws and county laws.
And federal laws.
Like, it's hard, can we point out, to be a law-abiding citizen?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's hard, because technically, if you start looking around, like, oh my God, the number of laws.
Yeah. You know,
like, it's just too easy.
Yeah. So they made the right choice.
Mm.
I back this choice because it's like, oh, that's cute.
Well, and it you know, as much as they can disagree about this situation and whether or not this suspension or the suspension of their license and this probation is legal or appropriate or whatever they want to complain about, when they break that next law, that's that own noose they put around their neck getting yanked. Because watch out, it's going to be something so stupid they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know it is. You know it's going to happen. Right. And it's going to be like, you didn't learn the first time? Like, good job.
Yeah. All right. So some other favorite topics that has made it to our news feed. Y'all guys may remember that a few months ago, we talked about the Public Service Commission finally getting sick of getting thousands of complaints a week about a company called Suddenlink, our internet provider.
Mm-hmm.
Well, West Virginia Public Service Commission issued a $2.2 million fine and ordered the company to open a call center in the state of West Virginia following an investigation of the quality of its services.
Yep.
The commission found that go for it.
Oh. Okay, they've found that Suddenlink failed to provide safe, adequate, and reliable service to its West Virginia subscribers, according to the news release. The PSC also alleged that Suddenlink intentionally reduced its maintenance work and budget, reduced the number of full-time employees, changed its method of communicating with customers, and ignored thousands of customer complaints. Oy.
Thousands.
Yeah, Suddenlink's conduct and
go for it.
Go for it. No, you
go.
I keep over talking you. You go.
You're over talking me because I've had my mocha. Please take it from here.
Okay, Suddenlink's conduct and performance with respect to its operations in West Virginia have been nothing short of egregious, PSC chairwoman Charlotte Lane said in the news release. There is no excuse for its conduct except to increase its bottom line, doing so with a blatant disregard for its subscribers. Suddenlink should be penalized for its action. The commission assessed a $2,242,000 penalty, which is the maximum to date, the news release said. The PSC also ordered Suddenlink to locate a call center in West Virginia. The company is expected to notify the commission within 90 days with plans for a location and anticipated opening date. As part of the penalty, Suddenlink will be required to distribute the $2.2 million fine evenly among subscribers in the form of a credit on the next bill issued following the order announced Wednesday. So, your bill's going to go down. I'm sure they'll find a way to eat that up in another cost.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, Lane and the commission met with Suddenlink representatives in 2021 to discuss more than 2,000 service complaints it had received, ranging from service restoration, billing errors, and the inability to place orders for service or contact personnel, among other issues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so yeah, that's where we are.
Yep. Now this leads us into another one. As broadband money pours into West Virginia, lawmakers are eyeing efforts to hold companies and governments accountable.
Take it away.
Yeah.
All right. After decades of poor broadband connectivity and a history of squandered opportunities, West Virginia is set to get a flood of federal money to fix the problem. The cash offers hope that the tide is turning and access to resources considered critical for economic development, as well as health and equity, will dramatically improve. But West Virginia has a long history of broken promises when it comes to broadband internet, despite the assurances of state officials and companies. Now, hundreds of millions of broadband dollars, with more to come, are set to be overseen by a single state cabinet. In response, lawmakers are pushing a bill that would create two big accountability tools: a legislative commission to oversee the broadband money controlling Department of Economic Development, and the ability for the state to hold companies accountable when they don't follow through on their word. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I'm not talking about Governor Dumbass.
No. Let's talk about
Like,
Baby Doll. I mean, she's more of a governor. But anyway, Bill 4001 is currently in the House Technologies Infrastructure Committee with Levi as a chairman. It will let the state deny companies the certification it makes to make it eligible for FTT funding if the company does not do what they say they would. Hello, Suddenlink. I think we just got your SEC CO underneath our desk.
well, like, they're not the only one, though. Like, Suddenlink is the baddest boy of the bunch. They are the punch him in the face Skrelly of broadband services in West Virginia.
Right.
Martin Skrelly, the guy who, like, upped the cost of the malaria medication and, like,
Yes.
everyone hates him. Yeah, that asshole.
We know who
Yeah,
we're talking about.
Suddenlink is that dude in West Virginia. Like, Frontier sucks.
Apparently in our area. Of course, my house doesn't exist in their system.
Well, there's that. Well, your house doesn't exist in a lot of systems. It's weird.
Not really.
Like, our whole street.
Yeah.
Our whole street doesn't really exist in a lot of places. But no, it's like Suddenlink has been the worst for say one thing, do another, say one thing, do another, say one thing, do another. But they're not the only one. Like, this went around like wildfire almost 20 years ago. We were supposed to have had high-speed broadband throughout this state. And the biggest problem, because remember, this was a couple of decades ago, and high speed back then was 10 megabyte service. We were supposed to have had this throughout the state. But because of a very poorly worded document, companies were able to say they had met that qualification for the entire state based on average speed per customer. So what they did was they poured a small drop of that money into large population centers to far exceed the 10 megabit connection requirement and effectively get the majority of the customers to a high enough speed that when you took it across an average of all customers, that number was 10 megabit or higher.
Mm-hmm.
and which technically hit the qualification goal.
Mm-hmm.
Functionally, what it did was mean that Charleston, Beckley, all these different, Morgantown, Huntington, like all your major population centers, anywhere with a high number of customers,
Mm-hmm.
had very good internet, like
Mm-hmm.
they've always had,
Right.
because they're major population centers.
Right.
And they did not or barely touched any rural area.
Right.
Effectively, what they did is they spent a very tiny portion of that money on actual system upgrade
Mm-hmm.
and pocketed the rest.
Right.
Like, you want to talk about corporate welfare,
Mm-hmm.
that's what this was. And it was the like Reagan welfare queen version of it.
Right.
Like, that's what these companies did, is they found a loophole. They
Mhm.
found a way to get a large amount of money,
Right.
as they did so very little, as they existed in the tiniest units possible.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, but Mary, this was like 20 years ago. Like,
Mhm.
we're talking like early 2000.
Mhm.
And this was all across the country at that point. So this wasn't just West Virginia ISPs that pulled this stunt. They
Right.
pulled this all across the country. This is why we still have rural areas
Mhm.
in not only West Virginia, but all across the country, that are, struggling just to have phone service, just to have a cable company, just to have cable service at all.
Mhm.
And then what these companies have done is they have played a game of almost go fish,
Mhm.
trading around all
Mhm.
these little tiny rural markets
Mhm.
and dumping them back and forth amongst themselves,
Right.
and collecting money for services they really can't provide.
Yeah.
Dare, Mary says 10 megabit is slow. Dare one call it twisted pair. It's not even that. It's
Yeah.
a tin can and a string.
Right.
Like, I mean, anymore. Like, we could not even begin to exist in this house
Right.
on 10 megabit.
No, we would be going satellite, even if it does take out a galactical storm.
Really?
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Are You the Asshole? And I chose this week's one.
Yes, he did. I haven't even read it yet. I just read the title and like the first part, like first sentence, and I went, "Oh, this is gonna be good." All right, take it away.
Nah, yes, take it away.
All right. Am I the asshole for calling out my grandmother for making an inappropriate comment about my wife? I, 24 male, work for my family, and one day this week, my wife, 24, brought me lunch. But unfortunately, the night before, we had gotten into an argument that we hadn't been able to work past yet. So we were still a bit annoyed with each other. My wife and I typically don't argue, and when we do, we work together to talk it through, and we also usually are always on a united front in public, especially around my family. But like I said, this was a very unusual and rare occasion for us. She brought it in and didn't say much to me, and I also didn't say much to her. She sat my lunch down a little roughly, just a bit more than necessary, and said her goodbyes to everyone and left. My grandmother works next to me, as well as my aunt, 2 cousins, and my mother, all women. My grandmother turned to me after my wife had left and said, if I had acted like that to my husband, I would have lost some teeth. It was extremely appalling and inappropriate to say, and I just looked at her and said, "What the hell are you talking about?" First of all, she divorced my grandfather and has been remarried twice since, and she's 60, so she shouldn't be stuck in her ways. But my grandmother stuck by what she said by claiming she was just being honest and saying my wife should be a bit more appreciative that times have changed. I told her to sit back down and never say anything like that to me again, or to ever say anything about my wife like that. In response to this, my grandmother started to cry and laugh. My mother and aunt both said I should apologize and that my grandmother just felt the need to defend me because of my wife's behavior. I apologized that my wife and I brought in the negativity to the office and also agreed it was inappropriate and we wouldn't do it again. But I refused to apologize to my grandmother because her way of defending me was just to basically imply that I am right to, quote, discipline, unquote, my wife for being rude to me, when in reality, we are being rude to each other. And yes, later that night, my wife and I talked it out and worked through what we needed to work through, and both apologized to each other.
Take it away.
Is it okay if I feel like no one's the asshole?
No,
like, don't get me wrong. I
asshole.
think what she said was shitty, and basically, like, there's so many things wrong with trying to turn domestic violence either into a joke or use it to defend someone, encourage someone.
Well, here's the thing. And this is where I call Grandma the asshole. One, she just disrespected the relationship. Two, just gave him the approval to slap his wife.
Slap,
what the
punch,
hell?
kick, whatever, knock out some teeth.
Discipline the wife. That is like, no. That hasn't been right since 1832, and it still ain't right now.
Well, and I don't know that she was quite serious, and that's probably the more problematic part. Like, I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of problems with what she said, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me, like, I can totally understand where he, the author, the original poster, the grandson, is at with, like, fucking seriously, Grandma?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you realize what you just effectively said? Like, you encouraged me to hit her
Mm-hmm.
and make her compliant?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you not...
No.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would definitely be taken aback.
Right.
Like, especially, like, because that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you sit there and you actually hear the words that you just said, like, I feel like it was one of those, she spoke out of turn.
No, she didn't speak out of turn. She spoke wrongly.
Well, no, effectively what I'm saying is that it came out of her mouth
Mm-hmm.
before it checked with her brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she felt the need to say something and acknowledge the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then what came out was just like, holy shit, Grandma.
Well,
Do you
and
realize?
we face this issue multiple times with family members, and it's like, not allowed.
I try to give people grace, but I would definitely be shooting some dirty looks and be like, what the fuck was that?
And that's what he basically did, was,
And
what the
that's
hell?
basically what he did.
And I think that he's in perfect right of that. One, to make that suggestion ridiculous. Two, to clearly show that Grandma doesn't respect the relationship. And three, to compare it to a broken marriage already. I don't think so.
Well, and more importantly, like, you just, like, effectively lumped him in the category of an abusive spouse. Like, that's what you think of your grandson, is that he should be, or could be, or, that, like,
And personally, I think the wife needs commended. She already had a fight with his ass, and she was nice enough to bring him lunch.
Well, definitely. Like, I mean, like, we can have a fight, but, like, you know, still be like, all right, here's your dinner. You know, I don't, like, I can be mad at you. I don't want you to starve to death. Like, I can be mad at you. I don't want you to go hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I can be mad at you and still care about your needs.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably be like, I'm basically in her boat, though, the wife's boat, of like, that don't mean I have to act like I am happy about it.
Exactly.
Like, I'm still mad at your ass, but here's your dinner. Make sure you chew carefully.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you can do that. It's a thing people do. And realistically, like, that's like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone in the office knew, ooh, they done had a argument.
That doesn't mean you go shooting your mouth off.
Exactly. Well, I mean, granted, like, anyone.
Nor, and I'm sorry, I'm with the grandson, nor do you accept disrespect to your wife, your partner, nor do you accept and allow family to disrespect them. We have that out of Mama Night, and she gets corrected.
Yeah,
Quickly.
I struggle with the. I guess I'm struggling a little bit with the disrespect towards the spouse. Like, I see bigger disrespect towards, like, the grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I think it's horrible that is basically suggesting that she deserved it for that. Like, okay, I'm starting to follow. Like, but I was too hung up on, like, I would be in the same boat he is. Like, if my grandmother had ever turned and said that to me, I would have been like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
Like, I don't know that it would have flown out of my mouth, but it would have definitely been forefront in my head.
Right.
Like, excuse me? Like, I'm sorry, I just hallucinated.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened?
Right.
Like, you said what? Like, yeah, sometimes silence between spouses is golden.
Silence is golden between spouses.
Silence and selective hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Always told those were the key parts of communication that are important for a successful long-term relationship. Mm-hmm. Silence and selective hearing.
That's why typing is wonderful. Emails are great.
That's not exactly a form of silence. That's not silent. That's silent. Very loud. No, it's very loud. You know, but no, and also, like, because selective hearing, I sometimes, I'm using that. Like, I always, and I've used that in every relationship. It doesn't matter if I'm dating you or not. I use that with friends. I use that with clients. I really do try to hear the best version.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I try to filter.
I know. You have lovely rose-colored glasses. I wear jaded glasses with a hard tack of nope. Not happening here.
But yeah, I would have a hard time filtering that one and going, the fuck you just said? Like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get there from here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing I can filter that leaves her speaking.
Right.
Somewhere around, you know, if I acted like that, like, everything after that, I can't hear. Like, I can't filter. There's nothing left.
Right.
So yeah.
But on just the feed in here, most of them are not the asshole, and most of them are saying exactly what I said, which is no, grandma needed to put back in her place.
Well, but then that leaves the question of, but is that relationship ender with grandma?
Until grandma
Because it's
figures
kind
out how
of,
to apologize to your wife, yes.
well,
Like,
and
I would not be doing Christmas dinners. I wouldn't be going Thanksgiving dinners. I wouldn't be talking to grandma in the office. She would be in cold box until she figured out what she done wrong.
well, I think it's quite obvious she knows she fucked up.
Uh-huh.
I really do. I think she knows she so totally fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this seems like this was just such a like one-off in their relationship.
Right. Well, not only that, but that's the problem with the silent behavior or the I don't hear that behavior. It's because it's going to get back to the wife. And then it's going to look like, well, he didn't stand up for me here again.
How do you mean? Like, he definitely stood up for her. I mean, like,
I know, but if he had applied that, selective hearing, I didn't hear what grandma said.
well, and I don't mean like selective hearing, you don't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some things, like, this is definitely one. This rings loud and clear. There's no other way to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no processing that in a positive light.
Right.
Like, I'm talking about in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, like, you give me instructions for unaliving myself, there's no good way I can hear that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's in that category of there's no good way to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was more so what I was trying to illustrate with, like, I try to have like a rose tinted glasses view of things I hear, but there's no way to rose tint that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and what I mean by that is I had a coworker many years ago now, who I had to filter what she said when she found out I was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And understand, because there's like a movie trailer right now. I think it's like for the movie Uncle Frank or something.
Mm-hmm.
That there's, that moment of, I know that with like your life experience, that's the best you can do. That, like, it wasn't the best way to say it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the best way you could say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like this coworker was trying to be really positive,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't have words
Mm-hmm.
in her vocabulary that could really talk to me
Right.
the way she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those moments where it's like, I'm going to hear what you mean, not what you just said.
Uh-huh.
Because what you just said was a little offensive. But
Uh-huh.
what you meant
Mm-hmm.
was a lot nicer than what you technically said, and understanding, like, she just didn't have the word.
Right.
That's not what this situation is. This isn't a moment of, like, not having words. There's better words all through that
Mm-hmm.
someone could have been said.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the other side of it that is, like, I do have those moments. It's like, I heard what you said. I'm going to choose to hear what I think you meant.
Mm-hmm.
Very carefully. because I think we all sometimes speak imperfectly. And sometimes we say, like, we've also had this conversation on the show before,
Mm-hmm.
in a different topic,
Mm-hmm.
of, like, not having language at a given point in time.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, way back when, calling someone a tranny wasn't necessarily offensive.
Yeah.
That was an identity.
Mm-hmm.
That was the language of the time, an identity.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but you hear it now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, cringe, ew, no, don't
Right.
say that.
Right.
Like, that's ugly.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Or
speaking
like,
of ugliness, in our last story of the night, TikTok bans dead naming,
misgendering
misgendering.
and conversion therapy.
Thank you for reading that word.
Sorry, you look like you're struggling with it.
Oh, I'm totally struggling with this article. Go for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to take over.
No, please take over on reading this shit because they have to use words that look like other words, and it's like, will you just stop? There's other words you could use for that.
I'm sorry. TikTok will now officially ban dead naming, misgendering, misogyny, and content that supports anti-LGBTQ plus conversion therapy in a long overdue update to the app's moderation policies. Cormac Keenan, TikTok's head of trust and safety, announced the news in a blog post on Tuesday, noting the need for more clarity on the types of hateful ideologies prohibited on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
Though these ideologies have long been prohibited on TikTok, we've heard from creators and civil society organizations that it's important to be explicit in our community guidelines. The blog post reads, adding that the app's recent addition of pronouns to user bios will hopefully encourage respectful and inclusive dialogue on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
Given the hostile climate queer people face across social media services, LGBTQ plus advocates applauded the move as a step forward.
Right.
Sarah Kate Ellis, president and CEO of the media advocacy organization GLAAD, said in a press release that TikTok's new update raises the standard for LGBTQ plus safety online and sends a message that other platforms which claim to prioritize LGBTQ safety should follow suit with substantive actions like these.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then they also need to, I don't know, stop suppressing GLBTQ plus content. Stop
Yeah,
demonetizing.
that algorithm's fucked.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
We know.
And here's a clear example of this. A very broad example. Me and another creator joined TikTok about the same time. Okay. They are like, we do basically the same content, get the same amount of, some not even the close level of views. She appears cis female. I appear not cis female or cis male. Her algorithm is blazing right now and has been whenever she creates. You, on the other hand, is still boxed in. The more, the even, I got some heat because I shared a thing about the Wyoming school removing history and all these other classes that are important, all these other subjects that is important to teach offensive gun ownership, not defensive, offensive. Yeah,
What?
offensive.
Offensive.
Basically, war stance.
Okay.
I don't know anybody that shoots laying down across something to shoot.
Okay.
Except military.
Yeah.
I got heat for that. I will continue to produce heat for that. When I see good TikToks, you're going to see me duet them out, especially ones that express my views. There's other creators that videos are just disappearing, like totally off the thing. And it's like, okay, what's the difference? Here's the only difference.
Mm-hmm.
Wear a harness in a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get community violated for nudity. But a 20-year-old girl or younger wearing a bikini top that shows more skin than a harness does, skyrocket across TikTok.
Well, and this is a long-term problem that, like, hi, welcome to the unfortunate side of gay everything. Like gay TikTok, gay groups, gay Facebook, gay, and it's the same you encounter with like pagan TikTok, pagan Facebook, pagan everything else. Is there is effectively a trolling community that is sitting there looking for content they personally find objectionable, that they then report with enough volume that it gets taken down either through an automated process because of the sheer volume of complaint, or it's an unequal application of community standards that, like you're talking about, all nudity is not created the same. That, one person's nudity is not another person's nudity. That on one hand, this can be appropriate for one creator because they're not on gay TikTok, they're not on witch talk, they're not over here in one of these communities that is a minority community, but they're over here mainstreaming it up. So they get a promoted for it, like that content is hot because it reflects social values that the majority hold, and or don't find objectionable enough to sit and troll, that it gets liked enough to not get taken down and get an actual review, versus when, and what you're talking about as well is also intersectionality, because your gender fluidity coupled with your sexual orientation coupled with the fact you're over here doing witch talk is 3 strikes against you for communities that want to look at you and troll your content and get the woohoo victory of reporting you and suppressing your voice. Because
Very
that's what
much
it's
so.
all about.
Well, it's like, and one of the TikToks I follow done a duet. Everyone knows this damn gray sweatpants thing on TikTok has been a big thing. A lot. He done a duet. Dude, one of the dances, dude had gray sweatpants, very obviously showing something. He had leather pants on. His duet got took down. The original creator's video in the gray sweatpants is still up and hitting over 1 million likes.
And it's
and the leather pants showed less, way less. Like he was cupped and bridled.
Yeah. And more importantly, but tell me why. Where was the 1 million views on TikTok?
Yeah.
What communities versus what communities? Like, surprise, surprise, you will go find this creator, I'm sure, in one of the minority communities, one way or another.
Right.
Always. Always. Without fail.
Yep. Now you guys may get sounded with TikTok. I'm hoping you don't, because I want to shout out a creator. His stuff is awesome. Can we just stop this?
Stop the insanity. However. Oh no. Please don't get our video taken down.
I won't.
And then Mary has a question before we close out and wrap up. So, yeah.
Give me a minute to go grab him, and we'll take Mary's question.
Okay.
Oh, come on. TikTok Josh with 2 H's, ELFGOTT. He's probably the best gay news follower. He's goals for us.
Mm-hmm.
And where is the
Hey,
other
check
one?
pronouns.
I'm checking. That's why I said the other one, because I don't know their pronoun.
You said he.
He is. It's a he. His pronoun is he.
They are a he.
Yeah,
Stop
they
saying
are a
it.
he.
It's is for objects. Although that's a hot topic right now, are people who choose it as a pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was an "Am I the asshole" on that one, and I was like, I can understand that person's problem because it was bringing up the fact that, like I do, I hear that and I'm going, you just dehumanize someone. But this is someone's self-selected pronoun. How do you get around your gut reaction of that's dehumanizing people versus this is someone's preferred pronouns? Mm-hmm. That was a hotly debated, am I the asshole?
Well, and it's like when you got into a large debate over mine, because mine is all or bitch, one of the two.
I don't think there's many pronouns you don't respond to except for late to dinner.
Normally it's because I'm cooking it.
Fair enough. And I'm sorry, Mary, I wasn't keeping up with such as LinkedIn. I'm sorry. We were joking, and then I just looked down and saw the comment, and I can't relate it back. But we'll get to that question in just a second.
Okay, this guy produces like 30 videos a day. Where is he? Oh, there he is. No bio yet. All right. SHININGNATHAN. Guys, he does some of the most funny Southern TikTok I have seen. I enjoy his content immensely. So go check him out.
All right. And then Brenda says, I've used they since high school because sometimes it's easy to slip even when it was just he or she.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shining Nathan. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the thing. You spell out words, and there's something about the way your voice says letters. Mm-hmm. I can't do anything with them. I cannot combine them together.
Yeah.
No, I just want to talk about it for a split second. Okay. You do this thing though when you say spell stuff out. Uh-huh. All I can do with it is the same thing I could in my high school typing class, which is press the button and move on.
Uh-huh.
Don't know what I'm typing. It'll be a surprise when I'm finished.
Uh-huh. Oh, so we have some Shining Nathan fans in here. Awesome. I'm glad you guys already like them, but go give him a like, give him a follow. TikTok has been being a bitch to him here lately, and it's worse than the MTA.
Ooh. Let's see. Okay. And if I'm correct and remember correctly, MTA stands for motherfuckers touching my ass.
Yes, you did get the reference. I am amazed. Give him a cookie after I bake them.
After you bake them.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's get Mary's question.
All right. Mary, 11/28/57. Will JLB require surgery? He got hurt bad. Just looking for the yes, no.
Okay. Yes. Not major, but yes.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, apparently Shining Nathan has a backup account as well. So, like and follow that. because he's had some bans already.
Yep. All right, guys, it's been an amazing evening. It's been a really bizarre week. Did we cover everything we no? And we're at 2.5, almost 3 hours here. But the most important thing is that we're here, and you guys are building and building with us as we're building out this brand and this connection. And there's many people that make that happen, from behind the scenes to our Patreons. Like Patreons, you don't understand how much we appreciate you, because sometimes you're our voice of sanity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You guys are awesome. And so taking that away and waiting for it to roll back around, because I have to have the scroller.
Mm-hmm.
Like we found out last time when I was saying, like, no, I have to have the scroller, I'll fuck this up. But we do want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Giss, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, and Dottie the Psychic. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become one of our baristas, one of our lovely Patreon supporters, you can visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes. And we will be back Tuesday, guys. There will be videos coming out on YouTube over the weekend and through Valentine's Day. All right, guys. Have a great night. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
There's a calm before the storm. You know what's coming, so be warned. You can't